Hi, welcome to Gotta Ping, a careers podcast you should listen to if you want to grow your career online and offline. Hi, my name is Mei Ping, and I'm a professional career coach and international speaker with more than a decade of experience at some of the biggest companies in the world. To learn more about what I do, visit meiping.com. That's meiping.com. All right, let's jump right into today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my Gotta Ping podcast, a podcast that you should listen to if you want to grow your corporate career. So, we are in my 30-day client success story series where I'll be sharing with you guys 20 client successes that clients who have worked with me over the past year and the achievements and really the change that they have been really able to make in their career since working together. So, I hope that these stories can inspire you and will empower you to really start thinking about your career in the long term, and also to understand that no matter what problems that you're facing in your career right now, there is a solution and you can definitely overcome it, because if my clients can overcome them, then I'm sure that you can overcome them and achieve the professional goals that you have set for yourself. All right, so today I want to share with you a client who one of my clients who worked with me to achieve a conversion from a temporary contract staff to a permanent staff. So this is to me quite a big achievement for him, because as we know, with the pandemic, a lot of roles, I guess a lot of positions, there is a growing trend, I think, particularly where my client's currently based. He is in Singapore working in the financial services and banking industry. And one of the things that banks like to do during economic or financial crisis or pandemic is they like to offer contract staff, right? They like to hire contract staff instead of hiring a permanent staff. It's actually quite common in the industry. And when my client first came to me, he did wanted to work on career growth and what does it mean for him, because he has been in the financial services industry for about 5 years, and it has been quite a challenge for him to get any full-time jobs. And in fact, it has affected his career a little bit, because every time he goes for an interview, then the hiring managers tend to ask, okay, why are you constantly on contract? And is there any particular reason why you didn't get the conversion? So that is actually quite an uncomfortable question to answer, even though it's really not his fault that, most banks are not exactly hiring, I guess, full-time positions based on his specialization, right? So when he came to me, he said, right now I am in a contract role in this bank, and I do like the role. I think that, there are a lot of opportunities I can learn from it. However, the only pet peeve is that it's a contract role, and I really want to get a permanent role, because as a contract staff, I don't get that much employee benefits, and that's something that is important to me, which is fair enough, because I think it's a good thing that he does know what he wants in his career. But unfortunately, the circumstances is that he's not really getting what he wants, which then creates a little bit of frustration. So I found out a little bit more about, the structure of his contracts and so forth, and what we eventually decided to focus on for the next 6 months. So he started working with me in May of last year. So we agreed that, okay, over the next 6 months, what we are going to try to focus on is to get him that conversion into a permanent staff. So one of the core areas that I started working on was helping him on was really around communication, because he is quite an introverted person. And one of the questions he asked me was, oh, how do I make jokes and like try to be, really good friends with my colleagues, because I'm kind of shy, so I'm not really used to these things. So one of the things I really had to work with him was like how to communicate in a very effective manner without trying to be like a comedian or something like that, which really is, doesn't match his own personality, and he finds that this is really difficult for him to do. But how to communicate effectively with his various team members as well as his boss to make sure that he is visible, right? Because there is no way you'll get a conversion into a permanent staff if your boss does not know who you are, your colleagues don't really remember you, because if they don't remember you, then how can they vouch and validate for the kind of help and support that you have been providing them? So that was something that he really had to step out of his comfort zone. And the other thing I also worked with him was like, how do you structure updates and schedule sessions with his direct manager to really try to get some feedback and, of course, visibility in a more practical way, right? So making sure that his boss knows who he is, what he has been doing, a lot of his progress. So all these things, like, we need to be able to navigate that, because if you leave it too last minute to the performance review, then it's really is too late. And this is actually a mistake that a lot of people make, in which they don't really plan and move towards what they're looking for, be it, for this particular client is a conversion to a full-time staff, but maybe for you it could be something else. But it's all about career planning, determining the right strategy, and then taking action. So the other thing that I also worked on for this particular client is to really work around his workload management. So initially, he also faced some challenges of not being able to communicate delivery on time. I wouldn't say that he couldn't finish his work. In fact, he did meet all the KPIs, but the problem was he wasn't communicating to the relevant people that he did finish his work on time and he did complete everything based on expectation and timelines. So I want you guys to recognize that if you have finished your work and you don't tell anybody about it, then nobody knows. And even if you were to work so hard to finish your work, actually it might not mean anything, because in corporate, if your boss or your team leader or your supervisor doesn't know that you've finished the work, then guess what? In their view, you haven't actually done anything, which is then defeats your entire time, effort, and energy that you have poured into completing the work on time. So that was actually one of the challenges that this client faced. So the other thing we also worked on was getting him on special projects so that he again can raise visibility. So one thing I want you guys to recognize is that if you are looking for a promotion or a conversion, something that's a step up from where you are right now, exploring new opportunities within the current job is a really, really good way to get visible, as well as to grow in your current role. Even if it doesn't work out in this current role, it's something that you can take on in your resume and a contribution that you can make in your next company. So we explored some projects available. Eventually, he did get on this special project, which was pretty high profile, and he was really the main person helping out his manager. So what that meant is that he now has one-on-one access time with his manager, which is then great, right? So right now we are like multiple phases of making sure that he gets visible is one thing, but making sure that his boss recognizes his positive skills and so forth. So the good news is that, like I said, we started working in May. Then the good news is that in late September, on October, when he had the one-on-one performance conversation with his manager actually told him that, hey, I really think that you have very good qualities, and we are going to offer you a full-time position, but you just need to give me 2 months because we need to go through a lot of approvals to try to get that. So if you're comfortable with this, then we will proceed. And of course, he was really, really excited, because that was the whole main goal that we were working towards. And he actually got that confirmation just 3-4 months of working with me. And his boss is now saying that, hey, I know that, it's not the easiest for me to get this conversion because, headcount problems and blah, blah, blah. But we are willing to fight for you. So I'm going to try to go for this full-time conversion, and we'll see how that goes. But we really, really want to retain you. So let me give you guys a very interesting update. So of course, he did get the permanent conversion, and everything was finalized, paperwork, everything was finalized in November. Yeah, November, which was really the 6-month mark of us working together. And he was very, very, very excited, for sure. And interestingly, what was very interesting is that when he joined this bank in a contract position, he did join with other 3 contract staff. right? So it was basically 4 of them, and eventually what happened was that the contracts for the other 3 people were not renewed. So now his friends who came with him from the same agency and same contract, now they're not converted. That means that suddenly, they don't have a job. So he was telling me that, oh, maybe I'm so grateful because like I could be one of them. And, it's not a good feeling when your contract gets cancelled because there's a lot of anxiety being a job seeker again. So I think he was really, really happy that, he managed to get that full-time conversion. And even from then on, his boss gave him really, really positive feedback on his soft skills, which is again a massive turnaround from where he was because he was so quiet and nobody knew what he was doing, to a point where his boss is saying that, hey, you're very responsible. I see, we got very positive feedback from different stakeholders and clients of you. So a lot of positive feedback. And even from then on, that was last November, and even up to today, since then, he has been given more portfolios to work on, and nowadays he's actually shadowing his team leader in managing the broader portfolio for Asia Pacific as well. So it was actually a really, really big move for him. And even nowadays, we still do our coaching sessions every 6 weeks just to make sure that he remains on track, and he also remembers what he is working, what he's focused on. And nowadays, and our goal for the next 6 months to the next performance review is to make sure that he gets a promotion to senior executive, because he's already doing the work, and right now we just need to work on positioning, because last year the goal was making sure that he got the permanent conversion to a full-time staff, and then this year our goal is to make sure that he get that promotion that he actually deserves. So that's it, a very quick story of this one client whom personally I'm really, really proud of, because to me, he proves to me that it doesn't matter, right? You're in a part-time job, you're in a contract staff, you're in an agency, it doesn't matter, because if you get visible and you get visible in the right way, showing your value, improving your skills, industry knowledge, your boss is going to recognize that. And of course, you need to be proactive to grab the right opportunities that work for you. So my client managed to get this opportunity, or rather this conversion, at least a commitment of the conversion within 4 months of working together. Within 6 months, he signed the dotted line, got a full-time job, and right now he has been given way more portfolios to work on, right? A lot more responsibilities, and more importantly, we are even talking about working towards a promotion at the year end. And that's something for him in the past 12 months didn't seem very possible, because at that time he was just worrying about whether his contract would be renewed every 3 months. And lastly, I also want to share another big achievement for him is that when he got the permanent conversion, his agency, because he was a contract staff, he was associated with an agency. His agency told him that, hey, actually you are the first person in the agency who ever got a full-time conversion, because nobody has been able to do that. So he was really, really excited, really, really proud, and I definitely feel very, very proud of him as well. So yeah, that's it for today's story. I hope that this story inspires you that no matter where you are in your career, whether you're in a part-time, contract staff, and so forth, there's always room for you to improve. There's room for you to get visible in the right way, and there's room for you to convey your value that somebody else, right, a manager, team leader, director, believes in you and believes in you enough to fight for you. So I hope that this story has inspired you and empowered you to really strategize and take action. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Cheers. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode. For more awesome content like this, remember to like and subscribe. Also, head on over to my website, meiping.com, that's meiping.com, and subscribe to my weekly newsletter for more career growth and personal development tips. You can find the links in the description box below. Once again, you're listening to Gotta Ping, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!